The cartoons that we grew up with have had many creepy and in some cases downright terrifying moments. And in some cases, many of these moments came from an otherwise tame kids show. And that's certainly the case with Gravity Falls. With all its strange creatures and crazy adventures the characters get into, Gravity Falls established itself as one of those cartoons that wasn't afraid to push the barriers with scary moments. And those are the moments that we're going to be looking at today. I'm Kyle with Wicked Binge, and today we're ranking scary moments from Gravity Falls from creepy to terrifying. So today we're going to be looking at the most iconic scary moments from the show, starting with the ones that are just a bit creepy, and working our way up to the most terrifying ones. So let's begin with Dreamscaper's Deer Teeth. In Bill Cipher's debut, Gideon's summoning of him leads to a creepy display of his power. The forest Gideon was in slows down and becomes an eerily grayish color, becoming the mindscape. Bill immediately surprises Gideon by knowing who he is, among almost everything else in existence.
Triangulum! Entangulum!
To show just how crazy and random this three-sided being is, he makes a nearby deer's teeth just fly out of its mouth, and puts them all in Gideon's hands. This is a really creepy moment, especially if you have some sort of phobia surrounding teeth, which is not uncommon. What a very weird way to introduce yourself. Moving on, next up we have the Season 2 moment of Grunkle Stan's balloon. In the episode The Love God, the Woodstick Music Festival comes to town, and festive hot air balloons are all around. In an attempt to advertise to the hipster youth attendees about the Mystery Shack, Stan makes a balloon of his head with the message, "I heart kids."
It's heaven's punishment for our terrible taste in everything!
The balloon's cheery message and appearance soon goes south due to Stan's lack of attention to safety hazards, and catches on fire. It now resembles a demonic-looking Stan with the message, "I eat kids." This moment is creepy as much as it is hilarious. Next up we have the Screaming Head, another creepy summoning of Bill Cipher's. In Season 2's Sock Opera, while Mabel spends the week putting together a sock puppet musical to impress her crush of the week, Dipper tries unlocking the laptop found in the author's bunker. After dozing off, trying to find the correct password for it, Bill Cipher pays him a visit. In Dipper's mindscape, Bill greets him in the similar manner toward Gideon. Instead of a gift of deer teeth, Bill conjures a screaming head. A literal severed head of a man, just screaming non-stop. What's really disturbing about this moment is when Bill makes it disappear by having its layers unraveled, from muscle to bone. But moving on to the Floating Head Island. After Season 1, a whole summer's worth of shorts were released to keep fans satisfied while waiting for the next season. The first wave of these were titled Dipper's Guide to the Unexplained. In the Tooth short, Dipper and Mabel set out to investigate a giant tooth left on the lake's beach. While rowing towards an island in the lake, Mabel brings out her creepy stuffed animal, Barrow. But that's the least of our concerns here. As they notice bubbles in the water, the island floats up and towards the two, revealing it to be a giant floating head. This bizarre and creepy monstrosity has giant eyes, teeth, and a mouth that it uses to try to eat their boat. What really makes this creature disturbing is the strange rambling it makes, which, when played backwards, says, "You have awakened my slumber. Enter my mouth, children. Enter your destiny," which is messed up and is sure to send a shiver down your spine. In our fifth spot, we have the Cooler Monster. Now, this one isn't like the ones in Futurama, hell-bent on stealing the knowledge of the universe. No, this one's quite terrifying. In Season 1's The Inconveniencing, Dipper and Mabel join Wendy and her teenage friends to break into an abandoned convenience store, kinda like a discount stay overnight in a haunted house. But after breaking in, they find this store to be just as scary.
Maybe let's not do that.
Dipper's the one who notices all the paranormal, spooky happenings before everyone else. But the one moment that really shocks viewers is when he goes to grab more ice. At the cooler, a floating brain with a mouth, eye stalks, and tendrils all over scares him. Of all the haunted things in this episode, This one definitely had the most details put into it, and it's definitely scary enough to catch you off guard. Next, we have Bill taking over Dipper. Later on in sock opera, Dipper becomes desperate to figure out that password and makes a deal with Bill. Unfortunately, he didn't read the fine line and falls for Bill's trick of using Dipper as a puppet.
Yeesh, kid, relax.
For this moment, we're referring to the initial first interactions Bill has while possessing Dipper. The creepiness begins with how Dipper's eyes are replaced with the yellow glow of Bill's, and has long slits for irises. Within a minute, Bill is torturing himself, experimenting with pain by falling down the attic stairs, slamming his arm with a kitchen drawer, and puncturing it with a fork. This at first comes off as a laughable moment, but when rewatching, Bill's masochism just comes off as quite disturbing. Not to mention, he leaves the shack with a creepy maniacal laughter, with another distorted look in Dipper's body. I'd say this is where we start crossing into the terrifying territory, as our next entry is Pyramid Chase. Throughout his reign of terror in Weirdmageddon, Bill gets unhinged in several moments. The earliest we see this more diabolical side of him is when he wipes out Time Baby, as remaining townsfolk's resistance falters, and the two pairs of Pines twins are all that's left. A new plan to stop Bill forms. Dipper and Mabel run off to distract our now three-dimensional villain, and he shows off his arguably most terrifying form yet. Dead set on killing the Pines twins, he transforms into a giant red pyramid and grows several spider-like arms, with 3 tongues protruding out of the layers of his body. This unsettling look of his while chasing Dipper and Mabel is complemented by him yelling,
I've got some children I need to make into corpses.
I've got some children I need to make into corpses, which would be an incredibly dark line even if it wasn't in a children's show, but a kid's show out loud expressing the desire of kids being killed. That's just super dark. Moving deeper into the realm of terrifying, we have Darlene. In Season 2's Roadside Attraction, Grunkle Stan takes Dipper, Mabel, and Mabel's friends, Candy and Grinda, along with him to vandalize other roadside attractions across Oregon. After ruining attractions such as an old lady's giant yarn ball and an upside-down house, and Dipper taking his Grunkle's dating advice, they wind up at Mystery Mountain. This location, 5 times the size of the Mystery Shack, contains paranormal attractions of mummies and spider people. Darlene, seemingly a normal middle-aged woman running the place, appears okay at first, but later, as Stan takes a tour with her inside the mountain, becomes her latest prey.
You're so funny.
Darlene reveals her true form, walking in at first with her lower half a spider, then turns her face inside out to full arachnoid being. What makes this even more scary is the lifeless skeletons hanging around Stan as he's in her web, the so-called mummies, which sounds like a bad date to say the least. Next up, we have Hoo-Ha's owl animatronics. In Seuss and the Real Girl, Seuss finally gets a date with a woman, and they meet at a Chuck E. Cheese-esque place called Hoo-Ha's Owl's Pizza-Matronic Jamboree. Here, the Doki Doki-like computer girl he practiced dating comes to take back Seuss by possessing the animatronics of the establishment. And yes, I know what you're thinking, this was a spot-on Five Nights at Freddy's reference, which made it all the more horrifying with the beginning of it starting off with,
Hoo-Ha the owl is dead.
sorry friends, Hoo-Ha the owl is dead. The animatronics proceed to go rampant and kidnap Mabel, Dipper, and Seuss's girlfriend. Their reign of terror ends as scary as it began, with a terrifying face melt on the lead robot. It's also worth mentioning that this episode came out literally a month after Five Nights was released. Moving on to Scary Oak Zombies. From the titular Season 2 episode, Dipper meets a pair of government agents, thinking these two men can help him solve the mystery of the author's identity. His hopes are quickly shot down as the agents assure Dipper there's nothing paranormal about this place.
We have other spots to investigate.
In an effort to prove them wrong, Dipper uses the journal to summon a horde of the undead. Their first act is dragging the two agents away into the woods, never to be seen until the episode's end. The grotesque zombies then lay waste to the Mystery Shack's party being held, and battle the Pines family. Zombie guts spill as they combat the undead, a terrifying start to the second season. Next we have the Summerween Trickster. In the series' only Halloween special, Summerween, Seuss tells a story of being known as the Summerween Trickster, made of all the unwanted candy. Shortly after his story, the trickster himself appears at the door. His unsettling voice, unusual stature, raggedy brown outfit, and demeanor is what scares us about this guy.
I will let you live.
But then it gets worse. A kid, Gordy, comes to the shack for candy, and the trickster straight up eats him. Originally, he had a lighter color scheme in the promo for the episode, but the final dark coloration made him all the more terrifying. Taking our 4th place ranking for most terrifying Gravity Falls moment, we have Preston Northwest's face. At the beginning of Bill Cipher's reign over Gravity Falls and Weirdmageddon Part 1, we see him and his strange friends cement their terror over the townsfolk. Bill shows us his unsightly new transformations. But what really was horrifying in this episode was his display of power over one individual.
How about instead I shuffle the functions of every hole in your face?
As Grunkle Ford and others challenge Bill, wealthy resident Preston Northwest expresses his willingness to pledge loyalty to Bill. Bill doesn't care, so he has a bit of fun by rearranging the orifices in Preston's face. This messed up scene shows his ears sticking out where his eyes were, a giant eye out of his mouth, and a nose where his ear was. Taking our bronze medal for most terrifying scene, we have the Shapeshifter. Season 2's Into the Bunker brought us several intense moments. Deep inside the author's bunker, Dipper and Wendy are rescued from a monster by a strange man they conclude is the author. Giving him journal number 2, Dipper and Wendy soon realize the man is a shapeshifter from a can of beans, with his current form printed on it. He catches on to them and changes into a hideous monster with an elongated neck and spider-like legs sticking out. But this form of the shapeshifters isn't the scariest. That title goes to his form when he chases the Pines twins, creating a messed up combination of the two with ghostly eyes, sharp teeth, and 6 arachnoid legs. This character has one messed up imagination, and he also probably scarred Dipper for life when they froze him. Taking the silver medal for most terrifying moment in Gravity Falls, we have Mabel's dream world. In Weirdmageddon 2, Escape from Reality, Dipper, Wendy, and Seuss travel into a bubble where Bill Cipher kept Mabel inside. What they find is a whole world full of 80s vibes and cutesy preteen girl drawings. This world is Mabel's escape from the uncertainty of growing up and preferring imagination over reality. Everyone but Dipper is taken in awe by their imaginations coming real. He continues trying to get Mabel out of this prison, but in one moment that began heartfelt, quickly morphs into something incredibly messed up. Wendy appears to Dipper, trying to convince him this dream world isn't so bad. After suggesting his summer crush on her could become a reality by making himself older, he soon sees it's too good to be true. The figure masquerading as Wendy turns into a hive of cockroach-like creatures and falls apart. The sky around him turns blood red, and a tree with stuffed animals now has glowing yellow eyes, as do the animals. Bill's eye shape appears in each of the stuffed animals, warning Dipper that he's watching. Shortly after, everything is back to Mabel's happy imaginary landscape.
Take us to freedom, giant!
In our opinion, this episode's light tone throughout, before abruptly shifting to something so messed up, is why we had to rank it so high. But real quick before we get to our last entry, if you're enjoying this video and you want to do us a huge favor, hit that subscribe button and notification bell. We ask because we'd really appreciate the help in getting to our next milestone, and we have a ton more content in the works that we can't wait to share with you. But finally, our gold medal for most terrifying Gravity Falls moments has to go to the Northwest Mansion curse. In Northwest Mansion Mystery, Dipper is called to help expel a ghost haunting the Northwest Mansion during their annual fancy party. Pacifica brings him to the room with the most paranormal activity. Dipper is convinced this ghost is nothing serious, but soon is proven very wrong when lightning strikes and the picture of a lumberjack in the room disappears. The mounted taxidermy animal heads begin dripping blood from their mouth and eyes, chanting ancient sins in scary deep voices.
The forest dark shall once more rise.
To end it all, a fiery skeleton of a man with an axe lodged in his forehead emerges from the fireplace, grows flesh, and drags his axe across the room. It's really no surprise that this one earns the gold medal of terrifying. The bleeding animals alone make this one of the most unsettling and terrifying moments in Gravity Falls and possibly any Disney show we can think of. In fact, this scene terrified so many, it had fans wondering how the creator, Alex Hirsch, managed to get it past Disney's censors, especially given people were surprised back in season 1 when they showed Dipper get a nosebleed. But let us know in the comments section what you think the most creepy or terrifying moment in Gravity Falls is. And make sure to hit that notification bell so you can binge our other Gravity Falls videos. But most importantly, stay wicked.